Hey guys, how you doing? It's the Wolf, and today I'm gonna do something a little different because one of the most original, iconic kaiju killing characters, Ultraman himself, is now having an anime adaptation on Netflix. So there will be spoilers. If you don't want to know anything, click off now. You've been warned. And here we go. All right, guys, this is just gonna be my general impressions. I may do a full breakdown of episodes and other things, but this is just my overall impression. Now, I have not finished the season. In fact, I think I'm only on episode 5 so far at the time of this recording. But I just wanted to give you my general impressions and what I think of the series so far and how Netflix is doing. Now, full disclosure, yes, I have seen one or two of the old 60s Ultraman episodes. I have also seen as a child most of the anime adaptation about the same time that Voltron was going on. So I know a bit about the character, but I am not an ultra uber hardcore Ultraman fan. I like Ultraman. I know the know a bit, but I'm not like I know every little itty bitty tiny significant detail of Ultraman. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm a casual fan at best, but I know who he is, and I generally know what he does. He goes around beating the crap out of kaijus. He's one of the first kaiju killers. So, moving into this story, the basics. This picks up with the original iconic Ultraman, albeit about 20 years after his last fight and what turned him into Ultraman went away. But you come to find out one, he has full amnesia after his last fight. He doesn't remember being Ultraman. Though he does still have superhuman strength and endurance. I mean, he has a lot of the same powers. He just doesn't turn into the full, you know, 180-foot tall Ultraman. Though he has superhuman strength and agility. He can, you know, I would, if I had to base him on powers, I would say Neo minus the flight and stopping bullets in midair. But just as strong, just as fast, can leap buildings. I mean, actually, you know what? If I had to put it on a power level, I would probably equal him out to Marvel's Jessica Jones. He's probably that strong and that fast. So that's just to give you a brief background, and it picks up. He's the defense ministry, and the science patrol. Has a museum. The underground, they're still doing their things, and yes, aliens are on Earth, and they keep an eye on them. They're kind of the in this anime, kind of Men in Black, but a little bit more well known. But he comes to find out he's having problems, and he comes to find out that his abilities have been passed on to his son Shijiro. In fact, there's a scene, and again, there are spoilers, where his son's reaching out to touch a plane that's way the hell away. He's about 3 stories up, and he falls. The kid falls. He's about 4 or 5 years old. 3 stories, and any other kid would have broke his neck. Shijiro has maybe a bruise and is, stunned and scared, but almost nothing happens to him. Shinada, I think his name is. I don't know. Like I said, I'm only casual with it, but the original Ultraman, he goes to his old buddy that used to work with him. I mean, everybody says he's Ultraman, but again, the guy that was Ultraman, I mean, he's told he's Ultraman. He did all these crazy things, and people come up to him for autographs. He's defense minister, but his actual days of being Ultraman, he can't remember him right now for squat. So he goes to an old buddy, and his old buddy goes, "Look," and takes him in because he tells him about Shijiro, and he still has his powers. And his buddy Ike goes, "Well, maybe it's time I brought you back into the loop." And basically, in a short montage, kind of explains to him, "Hey, we're not gone. Yeah, you were Ultraman, and well, we may need you to pick that mantle back up." Halfway through the episode, it's a time skip of 10 years. Shijiro, instead of being a child, is now in high school, but he's fully aware of his own powers. I mean, you see him hanging out with his friends, and he go off and run off at night, and Shijiro is leaping buildings in a single bound. He's starting to realize he ain't normal. In fact, he gets into this fight with this one kid. The kid literally tries to kick Shijiro in the chest. Shijiro catches the guy's leg, barely even twists it, and snaps the kid's leg like a twig. Shijiro comes, and more and more Shijiro's figuring out, yeah, I am not normal, and something is definitely wrong here. Well, fast forward, he gets chased by the bad guy, and well, Daddy comes and lets him know, hey, I was Ultraman, and well, come to find out, Ike had built Ultraman a prototype suit, but a full up new version of the Ultraman suit, which I will provide a picture of now. Comes to find out, yeah, Ike made a or Ike made a suit just for Shijiro. Shijiro puts it on, in a power up scene that we see from all like Power Rangers style, TV shows, which are a lot based off guys like Ultraman. And well, fight ensues. Now, the new Ultraman suit definitely pays homage to the original Ultraman suit, which I will show here. You can definitely see the highlights, but it's definitely a more updated looking take and more mechanical and more modern. But they do a lot of nostalgia and they do it right. A lot of Ultraman's original moves, like the light beam where he crosses his arms, the spinning energy blades, jumping. He has laser blades, attached to his forearm. All the kind of stuff that you remember from the original Ultraman. Maybe a couple of new wrinkles thrown in. Yeah, generally in the first couple episodes. I mean, they're definitely paying straight up homage to the original Ultraman. A lot of the same moves. I mean, and there are problems with the anime, and it's definitely generic as all hell. The young man struggling with the powers daddy left him. Maybe a couple of daddy issues. Kid trying to figure himself out. I mean, that's the general plague of the anime. There are tons and tons, and oh my god, tons of tropes that we've seen before. Whether it's live action or anime, it is in abundance in Ultraman. But on the flip side, they handle Ultraman really well. Like Old Man Ultraman and passing off the torch to his son. I mean, it's done with care, and it's not completely trivialized. And they are going through the tried and true hero's arc of the boy growing into his own, growing to deal with the fact that he has these powers and there are aliens on Earth, and he's got to help the Science Patrol deal with it because so far not really anybody else, but there's just one guy who kind of helps with the Science Patrol, and he's kind of a big wig, and he definitely reminds me of the ends justify the means, and he definitely has read Machiavelli backwards and forwards. God, I can't remember his name right now. Who basically doesn't like the new kid and the new Ultraman. It's like, look, you're not tough enough, you're not strong enough, you're not, you're not Ultraman. You're not Ultraman yet. You may have his DNA, and you may be able to make the suit work, but you got a long way to go before you're Ultraman. And hell, they even have it where Ultraman has two states. He has his limited form where he can run basically nonstop. Suit doesn't tax him, and he's super strong, has the abilities, and then he has his unlimited form, which basically has a 3-minute time limit where he uses full power instead of maybe half power. And it's like, for lack of a better term, Dragon Ball Z, like Goku going, Kaioken times 20, but for 3 minutes straight. So, I mean, again, that was something that was, normal for Ultraman. I mean, they haven't had Ultraman in this series go the full, I'm 180 foot tall and I'm going to fight kaiju, you know, old school. It's mostly been, humanoid versus humanoid fights, but, yeah. So, overall, even as a casual Ultraman fan, I've mixed feelings. I give it like a 7 out of 10 so far. I mean, I generally am well receiving it, but oh my god, the tropes are forever, which is, I think, something that's really plaguing it, and just a lot of, retreading of old and new. I mean, they're not really taking too many risks. It's definitely paint by numbers, which is definitely holding it back. But the nostalgia is there, but they're not like completely, oh my god, overdoing it and completely relying on it while trying to tell somewhat of a new story. Especially, I think it was episode 3 or 4, he fights an alien, and the alien's going, "Oh, wait a minute, you're using me as a publicity stunt to, show that Ultraman's back loud and proud. Oh, so you want me to be the bad guy? They're starting to throw in shades of gray where the old Ultraman, it was Ultraman versus the forces of evil, and Ultraman's good, everybody else, the kaiju he fights is bad, and this is taking a little bit of a risk and throwing in shades of morality and, showing that the new kid, like, do I even want to be doing this? I mean, do I need to be killing people? The kind of stuff you'd expect from a 16-year-old, 16, 18-year-old kid who's like, ooh, pump the brakes. First you want me to do this, now you just want me to kill people on command. Ooh, I'm not a sociopath. I'm a, normal, 16-year-old kid here. Let's pump the brakes here a minute. So, but it's generally logical, and the logical thing of he wants to be a normal kid, but he's trying to grapple with the fact he'll never mean the kid who's becoming a new Ultraman will never be normal again. Stuff like that. I mean, but it's stuff we've seen before, but at least it's a familiar setting of Ultraman. So, like I said, 7 out of 10, maybe ranging on 8, but it's not quite the new Voltron, which they definitely took. Took the old, slapped on new stuff, and took it to a new gear. Ultraman quite hasn't hit that yet, but it's not terrible by any stretch of the means. So I just wanted to let you all know in on that and what it's going so far. I might do an episode by episode, or I might do, a half season breakdown and then do the final part of the season and compare and contrast. But I just want to let you know, Netflix Ultraman, if you're an Ultraman fan, check it out, but don't slam down that nostalgia gear and don't slam down the high hopes and the hype. Temper it a bit. Yes, it'll hit keynotes, but it ain't gonna blow your mind. It ain't gonna be like, oh my god, this is the bestest thing ever. Oh my god, Ultraman, jizz your pants. It's gonna be not bad. Definitely could do more, but not bad. And I'm sure the hardcore Ultraman fans are probably going to be shitting bricks of, oh, this ain't Ultraman, flip the desk, oh my god, they're desecrating it. Maybe. They might do that considering the fact that they bring back the original Ultraman character, but you do have to realize he is a 60-year-old man. Granted, very super strong and resilient 60-year-old man, but he's still 60. He's a bit over the hill. Granted, he could take down street scum with a pretty decent suit, no problem, but against someone jacked up on power as he is, yeah, he over the hill. The young kid gonna have to take up the reins. There's just no way around that. A 60-year-old Ultraman is just too far over the freaking hill. And hell, even Ultraman realizes this, the original one. But in the last episode I was watching, they're having a father-son moment, and you see the new Ultraman kind of in the shadow in the background, and you see the old Ultraman in the shadow in the background. I'm like, all right, that's cool. That hits me in the feels a little. And, Dad trying to talk about, the power isn't this great gift. In fact, it's kind of a curse, and, they're kind of taking it down that way of, I'm sorry this happened to you, kid, but this is what it is, and we got to deal with it. So I'll keep watching. I'll give you my thoughts later, but this is about a 14-minute, my initial thoughts, my overall thoughts on it so far. Hell, I've been talking story and character and all that, and it is definitely there, but the actual anime quality, I'd probably give it an 8 or a 9. You can definitely tell this is a CGI animation and not, drawn on paper just by the way it's done. But if you like stuff like Knights of Sidonia or some of the newer age stuff where they really get technical with the CGI animation, you'll appreciate its artwork. It's definitely on the decent side. I didn't really see a lag in quality or shitting upon it. So the music was okay. The power-up scene where the kid turns into Ultraman looks pretty damn cool, if you ask me. The music is definitely Japanese J-pop for the intro. I mean, Again, anime's paint by numbers. It's not exactly, oh my god, good, but it's not flatly terrible either. It's somewhere in the middle. Those are my thoughts on it. I'm sorry this ran 15 minutes and rambled a bit. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll catch you next time for some more Ultraman.